Hey there, my name is Alina Sermonera and I'm the host of Shaw TV's Heart of Culture. Right now I'm standing in beautiful Old City Quarter in downtown Nanaimo. It's amazing what this small community always has going on. And speaking of similar small communities, right now Qualicum Beach actually hosts the leader in virtual reality games called Cloudhead Games. And they actually started 5 years ago and through a really successful Kickstarter campaign about 4 years ago. And right now they've actually just announced a new game. So let's go check them out.
The fate of a fading world rests in your hands.
Cloudhead Games started really in my garage. I was always a VR kind of basement hacker guy and was really into VR in the early 90s. And even though it was really bad back then, I saw the potential for the technology.
Right now I can use my head to subtly navigate.
We got involved very early on with Oculus. And we were doing work with locomotion techniques and interactions with your hands.
Just literally reach behind your shoulder like you're grabbing a backpack, pull the trigger and hold it down, and then pull it out in front of you.
Came up with things that are now industry best practices like VR blink and teleportation, VR comfort mode, a bunch of these early innovations that kind of caught the eye of Valve. And Valve really helped us to work with their new technologies and deliver our first product to market, which was the gallery called the Starseed. It's the first part of a 3-part episodic adventure, kind of like Goonies or Labyrinth, all these kind of precious 80s adventure films we all want to be a part of.
For those who scare easily.
We had great critical success with episode 1 of the gallery, which was called the Starseed, which helped us build episode 2, which is Heart of the Emberstone. And Heart of the Emberstone sets you on a path to find out where your sister Elsie has gone missing. You travel to an alien world called Ember, meet bizarre, mysterious creatures. Again, it's very much kind of like, Labyrinth or Dark Crystal.
I need what you have, what you are.
Playing a game on your couch and you're just sitting there with a joystick, you're detached from the experience in a pretty important way. And until you have like a full fidelity, high-end VR experience, you don't really recognize how big of a difference that is, because you're literally injecting a person and most of their important senses into another world. We're very much building experiences where you feel like you're a part of a story, you're an active player in a moment or a real memory of something happening. And I guess our goal is to further refine what that means and what that might mean for the entire industry. So one of the things Cloudhead did very early on was innovate on locomotion, because early on in VR, locomotion was the thing that made you feel a bit sick or a bit nauseous. So we created a system called blink teleportation. And it was a method to basically take this physical space that you could physically walk around in and then move that entire space deeper into the game world. Because when you have artificial accelerations, like you're using a joystick or something like that to push your character through a space, it tends to make the user feel sick, unwell, nauseous, because your brain is thinking, oh, I'm moving, but you're not really moving. You just look like you're moving. So as a studio, we came up with that, and that became something that was adopted industry-wide. Cloudhead shared our locomotion techniques. We shared our knowledge with the community, and the community does that right back to us. Because to not to at this point is to kind of stymie innovation. So the VR community in general, especially in Vancouver, CVR, and a bunch of different VR events that happen all the time in that city, everybody is kind of in the spirit of sharing. Because when you're an early kind of innovator in this market, you have to evangelize the technology, because the only way to get people excited about VR is to give them that direct experience. There is no way that I can explain to you what VR is or what it feels like until you actually have the direct experience.
Heart of the Emberstone.
Right now, I'm walking down the boulevard of clothing shops in Old City Quarter. And did you know that clothes can actually be dyed with mushrooms? There is a group of ladies in Parksville who discovered this 6 weeks ago, and they are actually mushroom dyeing like crazy.
Rainbow beneath my feet. If you checked in at the grocery store, you probably wouldn't find that many people that knew that you could dye with mushrooms. It's always exciting to just find out what's coming out of the bath. Working with natural ingredients, the thing that I really like about that is that every time you use it, you're going to have something a little bit different. So this one here has been sitting in for about an hour, and this is the one I just put in. These colors are really unique. They're really different, and it's just another exciting thing to show that we don't need to use chemicals to get fabulous dyes, that we can use nature that's right here in our backyard. You can really get the rainbow range of colors. It's exciting to see what you're going to get out of the mushroom. So the mushrooms that you're looking at right now are basically 3 mushrooms, and we've gotten all those colors. Every mushroom in it is an adventure. This book here, All That the Rain Promises and More, is a really great book to take, field guide to take with you. It is the elusive mushroom hunt. How do you find the mushrooms? Well, you know, you decide one day it's a beautiful day like today, and you say, let's go on a hunt. And you may find something. So it's going through the woods, and it's being keenly aware of where you're going to look. Anybody finds this? Please send it this way. That'll give us blue. When you're picking, that you use a glove. Because if you're not sure about mushrooms and you pick the wrong one, you know, you just want to err on the side of caution. The mushrooms that I'm using, we're using, don't necessarily aren't edible. We pretty much know that the really white mushrooms don't give you a color. Or a very pale beige. So I'm just going to put that in there. To get your greens, I've been adding some iron sulfate to the yellows that we've been getting. If you go for the sulfur tufts, they're really yellow. You can expect that you're going to get a really bright yellow. If I think about some of the names, that like a coral mushroom, you would expect that you're going to get some sort of a pink color out of it. The lobster mushroom, you get your reds and your pinks. So you have a choice of using the raw fleece or the raw silk, or you can use it spun. We can mordant it in an alum mordant, or with some of the mushrooms you don't need to use a mordant. And the mordant, what it does is it opens up to give you the color to take in the color that you want. So I soak the wool before I put it into the dye bath. You can use many dye baths. You can use, the first one is always going to be the strongest. I heat up the mushrooms in the water dye bath for about an hour. I'll take out the mushrooms, and then I'll put the fleece in. You can keep it in for anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour to overnight. So pretty! Look at how it's just glowing. So this is the end result of it all, right? When you get to make something.
So if you haven't been to the Nanaimo Art Walk before, it is a self-guided tour featuring 47 artists in 28 locations all around downtown Nanaimo. You get a map, and you get at your own pace to go to each artist and check out their artwork, purchase artwork, enjoy good conversation, and just see the creativity that Nanaimo has to offer. The types of artwork that you can find on the Downtown Nanaimo Art Walk are anywhere from glass fuse artists to guitar makers, traditional landscape artwork, jewelry making. So I've recently started doing acrylic pouring. I'm going to pour a cup of paint that is acrylic paint that's been mixed with silicone. I'm going to be demoing, and anyone who comes through my location during the art walk can put their name in and enter to win a class, a private one-on-one class. The Downtown Nanaimo Art Walk is happening December 2nd and 3rd this year from 10 till 4. The Art Walk is a really great opportunity for people to learn and grow. It gives the artists an opportunity to get feedback, which is really important for their process, and it gives people who are coming to the venue inspiration. It's just a good, fun way to help nurture creativity in our community.
And if you want a preview of the Nanaimo Art Walk, you can check it out at the Nanaimo North Public Library this mid-November. And in the meantime, if you know of any artsy things going on in the community, do give us a shout at this info right here. Until next time.